So as you remember, as a quick recap, decision trees are basically nothing but entropy decisions. So like we are calculating the impurity at each level and then dividing a tree depending on an attribute, and whether we want to select attribute A or B or C depending on whose Gini impurity is lowest, and according to that we select that, and then we keep on going ahead in the same way. So this is the example that I gave you the last time was about Boolean or categorical variables, in where there was blood pressure and blood cholesterol and blood flow, yeah, which are basically yes or no kind of data. So we had a clear picture of like we could do a truth table of like, okay, this many yes. So if you remember, this is blood cholesterol. Blood cholesterol will have two paths. One is a yes path and one is no path. And in the yes path, then we will see that if it is yes, how many times it has heart disease, how many times it has no heart disease. And similarly in here also, how many times it has heart disease, how many times it has no heart disease. So then we go that with the calculating the impurity level, Gini impurity of this, then impurity of this by calculating and using these two, we calculate the Gini impurity of this, right? So here, since it is a yes no kind of thing, so we can easily make this table and mapping of data and understand. But what about a data which is like this? So suppose I have a data which is, so this is blood pressure, say blood pressure, and this is heart disease. Okay, so we have a few data here, and we have say 100. I'm just giving the upper portion: 120, 130, 110, 115, 90. Okay, so like this, and then this one has no heart disease, this one has heart disease, or no heart disease, this one has heart disease, this one has heart disease. So how do I apply decision trees onto this kind of data? So these are numerical data, right? So this is not a categorical or binomial data. So the trick here is that find the mean of each adjacent number. So like 120 and 135. So the mean is 125, right? So this is 125. 130 and 110. So the mean is 120. 110 and 115. So mean is say 112.5. And 90 and 115, say the mean is say 107 or something. Okay. So now it becomes a yes or no type of thing. Is uh, is the blood pressure less than 125? Yes and no. Yes and no. Okay. Now when it is less than 125, then how many yes and no we have? Similarly, when it is greater than 125, how many yes and no we have? Okay. So similarly, we will be able to get the Gini impurity of this, Gini impurity of this, and using these two, we will be able to calculate the Gini impurity of this. So what will happen? So I will have a Gini impurity of this, I will have a Gini impurity of this, I will have a Gini impurity of this, and I will have a Gini impurity of this. So accordingly, I will divide my decision tree. Okay. So that is what we do in case of the numerical data. So it is just calculating the adjacent weights, and then in case of categorical data, if you remember, in case of categorical data, we were finding the Gini impurity of the attributes, right? Here we are finding the Gini impurity of the average of adjacent rows. Okay, so here the number of options will be very high, right? Because here the number of rows in any data compared to the number of columns is always more. So so I can have 1,000 rows, right? So if I have 1,000 rows, then 999 pointers I will have, right? Of gap, right? Similarly, I will, so there will be a very huge decision tree. But in here, when there is a binomial or categorical data, so I am calculating the Gini impurity of the columns only. So at max, how many columns I will have? 30, 40 columns, not 1,000 columns, right? So that is a comparatively easier to build Gini decision tree. Okay, so this is the difference between a numerical and a categorical data. So we can combine also these two and have a combination. So like in this, we can have one more parameter, and that is like blood pressure and heart disease. No, blood pressure and say blood glucose. And this is like a yes, no kind of thing. Okay, so we can mix these two now. So Gini impurity of these and Gini impurity of this. So which one ever is better, we will split the data accordingly. Okay, so it is not Gini impurity of this, because blood pressures, there is no yes or no. Blood pressure is there or not there is not a question, right? Blood pressure is always there. Either it will be low or it will be high, but blood pressure is always there. But blood glucose, whether it is a blood glucose is high or low, yes or no, I can know. Blood pressure is present or not, it is always present. Pressure is always present. So it is not a binomial question. So I have to create bins, or you what is said, it is like the adjacent averages, and calculate the by Gini coefficient impurity of these things, and also the Gini coefficient of this thing. Then apply the same principle. Whichever Gini impurity is lowest, use that one to divide the data, and then again apply the same procedure again and go ahead. Okay, so that is how it is created. Okay, so another one kind of things can be the data can be, so we saw one data is yes or no type of data, we saw numerical data, and then another one type of data is rank data. So what is rank data? Rank data is like if I ask you that rank my classes, data science classes from 1 to 5. Okay, so this is like a range, right? So what all questions can I ask? Rank less than 1. This is one question. Rank less than 2. Another question. Rank less than 3. Rank less than 4. Right? I cannot ask rank less than 5, because rank less than 5 means all will come inside that, right? So I have 4 questions now. So in my data, whatever is there, okay, I will have ranks and good or bad joke. Okay, so somebody gave rank 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, like this. Okay, and then good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, I have like this. Now rank less than 1, how many are there? Less than equal to, say, less than equal to 1. This one, okay. So there are two variables in here. So I can write this one like this, and two channels I will make. Rank less than 1, yes. Rank less than 1, no. Rank less than equal to 1 is yes. Is how many? 2 are there. So good how many? Bad how many? Right? I can do this, and again no will be accordingly. Good how many? Bad how many? So I'll calculate the Gini impurity of these two, and then use those Gini impurity to calculate the Gini impurity of this one. So then I will calculate the Gini impurity of this. Then whichever is giving the lowest Gini impurity, that will be the first rank less than equal to, say this one holds the Gini impurity least. So this one will be the first question. Then after that, we may yes, no, then you will see maybe here it is rank less than equal to 2, and here rank less. So this way. So the most important is how I am using the type of data to form the questions. Okay. So the formation of the questions is the important thing. One is binomial data you saw, numerical data you saw, rank data you saw. Okay. So then you can have this type of data also, like choose the color, red, blue, green. Choose the color red, blue, green. So what all questions can I ask here? Nitesh, can you tell me this type of data? What kind of questions can I ask? Suppose I have this table. This is the chosen color, and this is the person has color blindness or not. So he chose red.
For like we'll be having 3 different color dots, red dots. So whether you can see it as red, it has to be a yes or no, like that.
Yes. So you will ask. So here, choose the color means you will ask the first question is how many color he can choose. Can he choose more than one color, or he will choose only one color, or what? So if he's suppose that question tells that he can choose more than one color. So what are all the combinations? Either he can red, blue, green. This is one. Chooses red, yes, no. Chooses B, yes, no. Chooses green, yes, no. Chooses red and blue, yes, no. Chooses red and green, yes, no. Chooses blue and green, yes, no. Right? So these are all the questions that I can ask. Okay. And from the table of data that will be given, I can calculate the Gini impurity of each of this. Whichever is the least one, I will go ahead with that one for the first split. Okay. So this is all about decision trees. Like what all types of data are possible, and how can we approach to calculate the decision trees for those type of data. Okay. Any doubts on decision trees?
No, which are so far it is clear. Have to go through again. Yeah.
Okay. So now move to random forest.
Biswa, range that you were saying, right? Can it be between the range between this number like that?
Yeah. So it is completely depending on you. What kind of question you ask. So suppose you have this data, and there is the blood pressure I said, right? So 120, 130. So if you have the question like in range, I said less than this one. You can have blood pressure greater than 110 and less than 130. Yes, no. Right? So this is your question. Yes or no. Okay. So this is your question. You will find how many yes are there, and if yes are there, how many times it is a heart disease. Yes, no. Then you get your Gini index, Gini impurity. Sorry. then you choose whether which question is the most best fruitful question to ask, and then you form your decision tree. Okay. So
Okay.
this is all about decision trees, and now we will move to random forest. Okay. So actually, decision trees are have a problem is that the accuracy of a decision tree is mostly a little low as compared to other type of machine learning models. The decision tree accuracy is little low, but random forest solves that problem by the simplicity of decision trees with flexibility resulting in vast improvement in accuracy. So random forest is actually a, a, a concept built on top of decision trees, which uses the technique or simplicity of decision tree, but with high accuracy, right? So not only accuracy, we can we can make many things from a random forest. We can even guess missing data. So suppose you have weather report for the last 10 years, and for a period of time, somehow you have missing data. You don't have the data. So even random forests are useful in predicting very accurately the values that should be in the missing data. Okay, their accuracy is very high. So that is one of the benefits. Another one thing that random forest can do is clustering. How they can cluster data that are similar together into one piece. So that is also a very powerful tool that is available from random forests. So now we will see how to build a random forest actually. Okay, so okay, so in random forest, there is the first concept or the first terminology you will know is bootstrap data. Bootstrap data. So bootstrap data means what? You have a huge set of data. Okay, say a lot of data is there. So millions of color rows are there. Okay, so you create a bootstrap data from here. How you can create a bootstrap data? You randomly choose rows from here. Okay, you randomly choose rows from here and create a smaller data set, which is a little, which is far smaller than this one, this is in millions, then this is in hundreds. Okay, and even a row repetition is allowed. Means suppose I chose this row here, then I can also choose this row again here. So row repetition is allowed, and you take a subset of the original data. So this is called the bootstrap data. So once you have the bootstrap data, then what do you do? Just
No, I don't know.
Oh, sorry, I didn't ask a question. Okay, I was thinking. Okay, so what do you do is we create a decision tree using the bootstrap data, but only using a random subset of variables or columns at each step. That means what? I created a bootstrap data and I want to create a decision tree. I created bootstrap data. So here column say A, B, C, and D is there. Okay, D is what our final target. So D is always there. So here, what I do is I only, or here, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, all are there. Okay. So so here also I bring A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, already all the things I bring. So this is my bootstrap data. And from this bootstrap data, I want to create a decision tree, but I will not consider all the columns. I will only consider a subset of the columns. Okay. So that means I not only restricted my data in the horizontally, but I restricted my data vertically also. Means by creating the bootstrap data, first I am creating a subset from my original data, right? So I am taking less number of records. Second, I am taking a subset of the columns to create a random forest for that from that bootstrap data. Okay, I'm taking a subset of columns. So what is subset of columns? That means I will only apply Gini impurity on B, C, D, E to determine the random forest. Okay, so in my random forest there won't be any column A or GH. This won't be there. Only B, C, D, E will be there. Okay, so this is what is bootstrapping. Okay.
What is the advantage of doing this?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Okay, so what we do is just a little bit rectification here. So I take a bootstrap data, definitely, yes, true. And from this bootstrap data, I have to create a decision tree. Now to take a decision tree, make a decision tree, if I take all the columns to consider all the columns, then I will get always the same decision tree, right? So from considering only this data set, if I create a decision tree with whatever algorithm we know about Gini impurity, and I consider all the columns, so I will create a decision tree. That means there is a unique decision tree for this data set. Okay, but my plan is to create multiple decision trees from this data set, not only one. My plan is to create multiple decision trees from this data set. Now, how do I do that? Because if I take all the columns in consideration, then there is only a unique decision tree that will be generated, because that is the best decision tree according to the Gini impurity score that we are calculating. So how do I create multiple decision trees from the same data set? That is by this algorithm. In step 1, only consider, say, B and C column. Okay, only think that we have only B and C column in the entire data set. We don't have A, we don't have D, we don't have E, F, G, nothing we have. Only B and C we have. So considering B, or say one more we take B, C, D. We will think that we have only B, C, D columns. Okay. So considering B, C, D columns, I will create a decision tree. So suppose B, then C, then D, like this it came. Then what is from here, from BCD, I chose C. I chose C because C has the lowest Gini impurity. Okay. Now again, once C is chosen, so C is gone. C is gone. C is not there anymore. So then again, I choose one sample, A, B, D, and I apply Gini impurity and choose the best one. Say A is chosen. Okay, A. Okay. Then now A is also gone. A is gone. So now this sample also reject. This sample reject. Another subset I take. Say that is D, E, F. I take, and I calculate the Gini impurity, and I see that E is the best one. E. So E is also gone. Okay. Now this is the way I keep on doing until all the columns are covered. So with this technique, what will happen is I can generate n number of decision trees for the same data set. Just imagine this thing. I will tell you one more time. I will clearly explain you. If I had A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. Okay. So say I had 10 columns. Okay. I had 10 columns, and this is the output column X. Okay. Now, and I have 100 rows. 100 rows. Now consider this, understand this nicely. If I apply a decision tree algorithm on this entire data set, considering all the columns at the same time, how many decision trees can I generate? How many unique decision trees can I generate? Imran?
I did not get the question. Sorry.
The question is, I have a data set,
Yeah.
which has 10 columns,
Yeah.
and one final column.
Okay.
And I have got 100 rows. Okay.
Okay.
Now I apply the decision tree algorithm on top of this. Okay.
Okay.
How many unique decision trees can I make from here?
Considering like 2 columns at a time, or
No, consider the
depends.
entire data set at a time.
Data set if you take, then
Shiva?
Yeah, 99 this one.
99 unique trees. No. See, there is okay. We will have only one unique decision tree. You tell me. I am considering all the columns at the same time. So what I am doing? I am dividing A. I am dividing B. Similarly, I am dividing up to J. And I am calculating the Gini impurity of this. What is the lowest? Say B. Then second lowest, C. Then third lowest, D. Okay. This is the way
Yeah.
I go ahead. So if I consider,
Yeah, correct. There will be one decision tree only.
yes, if I consider all the columns at the same time, then I will have only one decision tree for the entire data set. Okay. But I am planning to generate as much as possible decision trees as I can from a given data set. Okay. Then what can I do? One approach is that For select, suppose this is our root node level. This is our another level. For selecting which node should go in the root node, I selected ABC. I only considered ABC. And I found that out of ABC, C is the best one. Okay, very good. Then to consider which is the next split, which attribute should be the next split, I consider another group EFG. Randomly. There is nobody is guiding me here. Random. Okay. So suppose I consider F is the next one. For the next one, I again consider one more sample, say FGH, randomly, and I get here G. Okay, which one is gone? That one we cannot take anymore. Okay, so G is here. So now you tell me, in this, using this procedure, I can, this is one decision tree that is being formed. Similarly, if I started with, if I started with HIG instead of ABC, then I would have a decision tree something like this, right? So every time which node is the best node for split, I am considering, I am just taking a subset, random subset from the columns of the decision tree. I'm just taking a random subset of the columns of the decision tree. So this enables me to create unique n number of unique decision trees from my data set. Okay, if I had considered all the columns together, then I would always get the same unique decision tree. But my target is to create as many trees as possible. Okay, so why I am doing this? Because I doubt that the Gini impurity approach, that is the gold mark standard for creating decision trees, is not very accurate. I doubt. When I doubt, then what is the choice left with me? I will go for some approach in where I can create more trees and see which is the best one, right? So when I'm considering all the columns, I'm getting only one tree, and I'm not very confident on its accuracy, because we have seen that decision trees are not very accurate. So to improve the confidence, what can I do? I can create many decision trees out of the same data set, and then some way congregate their results to find the final result. But how can I create multiple decision trees from the same data set? Because the algorithm is same for all. Therefore, they added some technique here, that for each step you select a sample and apply Gini impurity on that, select a node. Once the node is selected, select another random sample, apply Gini impurity, select the best column, and this way continue. Since you are randomly selecting samples every time, so what is happening? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Vishwa, sorry to interrupt, but the sampling when we do, so it's only limited to the feature or observation also. Like what I mean to say is, like you selected only A, B, C, for example, for
Yes.
one sample.
Yes.
So from observation also we'll limit, like for example, 100 observations are there. So we'll also sample from there, or we'll take 100 on the.
No, we will take for all 100. We'll take all 100.
Okay.
We'll take all 100. But columns I will change, keep on changing. I will keep on playing with the columns. Okay. So first I chose ABC, then DEF, then GHI, then A, H, G, like this. So this combination gave one tree. Another combination, say H, I, G, E, F, J, A, B, D, D, I, J. This combination gave one more decision tree. Okay, so like this there can be many, right? So we have many decision trees now with us. Okay, so now what we have a forest. What is a forest? A forest has many trees, right? So that's why when we have many decision trees, we call it a forest. And now why it is called a random forest? Because this sampling is done randomly. So that's why random forest. Okay, one decision tree is a tree, many decision tree is a forest, and since you are randomly sampling, this is called a random forest. Okay, and this is for one bootstrap data. I can again create a new bootstrap data and create n number of more trees, right? So there is no limit for me to how many trees I can create for my data set, right? When I was considering decision trees, I was only getting one unique tree per data set, but with the approach of random forest, I can create for every bootstrap data, I can create n number of decision trees. So first data set n, second data set another n, third data set another n. So 3n decision trees are now happened. Okay, so there is no limit. It goes on. Okay, so you can do it as many number of times you want. Okay, so we get a wide varieties of trees. The variety is what makes random forest more effective than individual decision trees. So the variety that we extract from the data by preparing multiple random decision trees is what makes the random forest very effective. Okay, so now how to make use of this random forest? We have created a random forest from a data set. Good. Now how do I use this random data set? Okay, so what I do is, we take, suppose a new data has come. I always say you, right, what is model? Model is a black box where we ask questions, we get answers. Okay, suppose a new data has come in our data here. This is a new, suppose one new row has come here. Okay, so A to J data is there. Now this data is asked to a random forest. Many trees are there. Many trees, decision trees are there. Hundreds of decision trees are there, which we created. Okay, so this is our model is now not a single tree but a forest. Okay, now what do we do? How do we ask question to a forest? So run down the data with the first decision tree and find the result. Then keep a track of that result. Okay, then run that on another data set and keep a track of that result. After running the data down all of the trees in the random forest, we see which option received the most number of votes. Okay, so suppose here we had yes, no, yes, no. So this new data, after running on all my decision trees, say first time first is n decision trees, then m decision trees, then k decision trees. So total n plus m plus k decision trees. I ran this data through all n plus m plus k decision trees and saw that the person will have a heart disease. The maximum number of result that each, so out of 100 decision trees, say 79 decision trees told that this person will have a heart attack, and 21 decision trees said that he will not have a heart disease. So I will tell that, say, he has a heart disease. Okay, so this is the way we use it. This is like voting. This is called the voting technique, and this is called bootstrapping the data plus using the aggregate to make a decision is called bagging. Remember this term, bagging. Okay, in interview they ask what is bagging, what is boosting. Boosting I have not taught you yet. This is bagging. Okay, what is bagging? Bagging is collecting the response from multiple models and doing a vote, applying a vote on the results, and then getting a final vote result like a democracy is called bagging. Okay. 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 So today I will not teach any more new concept. There is one more new concept: how to find missing data from data sets using random forest. And then is how to cluster data using random forest. Okay, so these two are remaining concepts. This one I will teach tomorrow, then decision trees will be over, and then we will again take on Sunday we will go to deep learning. Again we will teach deep learning something, then we will again go to statistics. Okay, so this way we will move there. Any questions? You got the idea of random forest?
Right. Yes. This way, the pruning technique also are there, right? Associated with
Yes,
this.
yes, all will come. That those all techniques will come.
Okay.
I'll teach it. Okay, guys, then.
This was some example so that we can relate this theory.
It's very, so okay. So download. As I said in the previous class also, you create a data frame. You know pandas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you create a data frame, pd.dataframe, and give columns is A to H. You give columns. Okay. You created a data frame of A to H column. Then randomly fill up the values of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and then some X value. Okay. So now do this for 1000 rows. Okay. So now you have a data set with you, which is randomly generated by you. Now write a function where you can bootstrap one partition and generate k random decision trees from here. Then again bootstrap this part and generate m decision trees from here. Okay, and then bring a new data, new ABCDEFGH data, and see that from all these k plus m decision trees, what is the result coming, which is the highest vote. Okay, so don't need to struggle for data from internet. Okay, just generate your own data. Create a data frame of columns A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and X. Then randomly fill up the values of A, B, C, D, E, F, I, J, A to J, and then X you fill up randomly. Whatever you write a function, random function. NumPy has a random function, it will generate random values. Then once you have that data, then you start partitioning that data and applying decision trees on each partition, and then you get random forest, and then random forest you take a new data and see that what the random forest is telling about this new data.
Okay,
Got it?
Biswa. Okay, Biswa, I'll try. Let's.
Yeah, the other assignment is also pending for all of you. So I had given you the link. So please try by going through the link to code it.
Yeah, today I'll try also.
Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijay. Thank you all. Good night.
Good
Thank you,
night.
Biswa. Good night.